Why don't you take an axe and chop it open?
All right, boys. I got something to tell you.
Yeah.
I'm sick. I got the dreamer's disease.
He's had the dreamer's disease since I got here.
Yeah.
He's just been...
You know that song?
You only get what you give.
Yeah.
Okay, I know the song. I just didn't know that was the thing.
No, he's been earwormed.
Yeah. Anyway, how are you guys?
Fantastic, because you don't want to participate in our songs, but then when it comes to your whole musical thing,
I would if
then
it
it's
was
center
something that I liked.
stage tone on the mic.
And I just don't like that show, so I'm not going to sing it.
What? I don't know. What show? That was an original piece I wrote about Alex Garland's Men while I was watching it, okay?
I'm not going to fucking promote it. You know?
Promote it.
I don't want them getting more seasons. I don't want people thinking that shows like that need to happen.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I would watch an Alex Garland's Men show.
Yeah.
A 2.5 men. Or 8.
Mansers. How you doing, John?
I just got out of my showing for men, so I'm a little scrambled. Rightfully so. I should have definitely tried to watch it on a different day, but I wanted to make sure that I went in with full brain capacity, and now I'm out of it without full brain capacity.
I've done that before, just like come straight from a movie to the recording. That's always an interesting way to do it. I had the benefit of at least one day of being able to talk about it with a couple people. Mm-hmm. So I'll be bringing in not only my perspective to meet your perspective, but a couple other people's as well. So
many perspectives.
Awesome.
Now, were any of them women?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. I went and saw it with my partner, Adrian. So we will be getting a little bit of what she thought of the movie. Yeah, I was like, spend some time with this before you tell me anything. She was like, okay, good. Thank God. I'm going to need to really just think about this for a little bit.
Aaron said the same thing. She's like, ask me tomorrow.
Yeah, I went with porcelain producer Ashley the intern, and she also had some thoughts. So we'll have some additional inputs as well. I do think that when we get to it, I think that there'll be our regular let's break down the movie and talk about the things we liked, the things we didn't like. But I think that we'll also probably have to jump in and try to break down some of the symbolism, the symbology of all of it.
Yeah. But in the meantime, let's get to the part where we all pull out our phones and stare at the screen.
We got some umbrella news. They're making them reversed now. Have you seen that?
I have seen it, yes.
What's reversed?
The umbrella.
So where it's like outward and then you go like this and it opens this way. It's supposed to be a more sturdy construction.
I don't know. I was just making a joke.
I think it's just a new year and they need a new umbrella to sell.
But yeah, it hasn't had a redesign
the umbrella,
in a while.
Yeah, the umbrella's been the same since the Penguin invented it.
But anyway, the Umbrella Academy trailer dropped for season 3.
Did anybody watch it?
Nope.
Sure didn't.
Well, then we can just talk about the thing that we were curious about, which is how Netflix and the show is going to decide to handle the Elliot Page transition that happened between last season and this season. We all agree that it would be best for the show to just let it be its thing. Let because they already said that Vanya is now Victor, correct?
Yes.
So, I mean, they already, at the end of last season, spoilers, did some multiverse or universe hopping of some sort.
We're gonna have the Sparrow Academy, which we've seen some of the cast come out for that, and it looks pretty great.
Yeah, so having not seen the trailer, that was the main thing I was curious about, so I'll probably watch it when I get home, just because I want to see if in the trailer they do address that, and then I could be like, cool, you did the right thing, or, ooh, yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, because Netflix is, like I said, they're already holding a big fat L, because they continue to just let Dave Chappelle use their platform as a way to shit on trans people, which is not great.
I think that whatever they do, I hope that it's what he agreed with and what's comfortable with. So even if they don't do what we're saying, where they don't address it, I hope that Elliot was comfortable with the decision that they made.
And at least was given input. Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So
speaking
whatever
of Gerard Way, though, this is a little bit of tangentially horror-related news, but My Chemical Romance is back.
They dropped a song.
They dropped a song called
pretty great.
The Foundations of Decay. Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
They break up?
They've been split for a while.
Yeah, but
they pop up every couple of years to do a special show, and at that point it's like, are you really broken up? But
I
this is their
keep
first
getting
time releasing music.
I keep getting force-fed videos of Frankie Euro, apparently like talking shit on Gerard, over the years and stuff.
Oh, really?
And but like,
Is that someone from the band?
yeah, Frank Iero was their lead guitar player. But he like would like talk about things about how like, oh, they're never getting back together, all while like it's definitely
Sounds like a
happening
little bit
behind
of,
the scenes.
Gerard Way is really successful outside of the band, and so I'm going to say some shit about him because I'm jealous. But I don't really know. I don't know. Sounds like some toxic chemical romance going on.
Either way, they all got back together and they made a pretty dope song. I'm excited to see what they
into
do.
it,
It
and
sounds
it's-
more like old, like maybe even pre Three Cheers.
Yeah, when they were doing
Like
like the
vampire shit?
the emo vampire shit.
Yeah.
So little bits of news that I have. John, I talked about this briefly before the show, but Chris Stuckman's horror movie Shelby Oaks is going to include They Live star Keith David, which is funny because I was just talking about Keith David the other day about how disappointed people going to see Firestarter and getting David Keith instead of Keith David would be. Yeah, and I assume that Keith David is the actor that he was saying would be like the stretch goal actor they were trying to get for the film.
Yeah.
Outside of that, Deadline has reported that the cast includes Camille Sullivan from the movie Hunter x Hunter, which I remember watching, sort of. Brendan Sexton III from Don't Breathe 2, Michael Beach from If Beale Street Could Talk, Robin Bartlett from Shutter Island, Keith David from The Thing, and Charlie Talbert from The Big Short, and Emily Bennett from My Phone cut off the rest of the article. So,
Now, I
It's a pretty great movie.
Is that a sequel to One Missed Call?
it's the sequel to Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. It's those long ass titles.
Yeah, I believe he just dropped a video as well, kind of like the first like behind the scenes because that's part of the Kickstarter.
Yeah,
process.
I watched the video the pre-production video that he put out. Super cool. I was like, fuck, I need to go and I need to pledge to the Kickstarter because you still can, and that unlocks like the actual long form versions of those videos, which I really want because having followed this guy for so many years and us being people who at some point would very much like to make a fucking movie, it is going to be, I would love to learn like how he's doing it because it's definitely like, hey, it's one of us basically, like
One of us.
now YouTube content creators, like it.
Yeah, so if you don't know who Chris Stuckman is, that's what he started doing. He was on YouTube and he was doing movie reviews. You can get
from his bedroom
Stuckmanized
back in the day, and then yeah, I mean, I've been watching him for at least like 10 years at this point, so it's very cool to see him graduate into actual filmmaking. Not that YouTube isn't super cool and everything, but the other little bit of news I had is kind of just in relation to what we're talking about for the main discussion, which is that Men obviously debuted, made about $3 million, which is it's an A24 movie that
it's either you're going to make that or you're going to do what Everything Everywhere is doing, which they officially eclipsed the highest grossing box office in theaters for A24. So it is the number one A24.
And I would
Wow.
I would say that's probably almost exclusively. Well, I mean, the marketing campaign has been huge, but also word of mouth. I think it's people seeing the movie and saying you have to fucking see this. It's the best thing that's come out this year. I just rewatched it for my second watch, and holy shit, does every part of that movie hold up? And you notice so much more on the second watch. And I showed it to my sister, and she was. The second that it got to the hot dog hands, she cackled louder than I think I've heard her laugh in a really, really long time. And I was actually tearing up a lot more since I was in a more of a safe space in my bedroom. There were parts that just had me like, okay, I'm going to fucking bawl. But Men is now at the number 5 spot at the domestic box office under Sam Raimi's Doctor Strange 2, Downton Abbey, The Bad Guys, Sonic the Hedgehog. Yep.
And then we've arrived at Men, and then Firestarter
And then
somewhere
Men,
way
and then right behind Men right now is Everything Everywhere All at Once, but that's just because it's been out for a while.
Yeah,
And I mean, those movies make sense to be ahead of it.
Yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah.
all the keys.
Static Sonic Boogaloo. Yeah, that's all the news I had. Did you have anything else, J Boo?
No, I think that
Jimbo
about
Boo.
covers it up. I just a little behind the curtain. We recorded on Friday for last week's episode, and now it's Monday, so it's a very short turnaround time. But yeah, so not a whole lot has happened in the news cycle. I'm sure there'll probably be things that'll happen in the next couple of days.
I did want to give a specific shout out in Chop Talk this week to Nathan from I Hope You Suffer podcast. He likes every single post that we put out, no matter what it is that we're talking about. And I always know that he will be within one of the first couple likes. And that's been one of the shows that I've in my head been like, we got to get more followers than them because they have like a bunch of followers and and they sell merch and like they do cool stuff. And like, he's actually the one that inspired me because they're constantly doing like, hey, we're going to give all of our Patreon proceeds to this charity. And like, we're going to give all our merch proceeds to that.
Humanitarian acts. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were actually my inspiration for like some of the stuff that we do with our merch now, like with the Horrors for Everyone shirt. So I just wanted to give, I mean, I don't even know if he listens to the show, but he's very supportive on Instagram. And has a good Letterboxd account too.
Nice.
So
Nathan?
I Hope You Suffer. Nathan from I Hope You Suffer podcast. Check
Thanks,
him out.
Nathan, from I Hope You Suffer. John?
I don't hope you suffer.
All right, that'll wrap it up for Chop Talk. Let's get...
This has been here words for Weirdos Production.